Welcome in, welcome in. All right. This is the other lens from the 2014 Dodge Avenger that I'm gonna clean up. So let me just get my stuff together here. So Jay, send me a DM and I can certainly send you a link. And I've also got a promo code that will save you 10%. All right, so of all the products I've tried for headlight restoration, this by far is my favorite. I love this because it's so easy to use and the results last for quite a while. Even to the extent I offer a 3-year warranty on all my products. So, first step is gonna be, this one's kind of beat up as you can see. Super hazy. So normally I would probably start off at like 1,000, but for this video, I'm gonna start at 800. And so, and then work up all the way to 4,000. So first thing I'm gonna do is clean it up a little bit using one of these Headlight Magic erasers. Always wanna get it wet. And these things can be used over and over again. So it's totally fine. The more you use it, the more the chemical does its work, does its thing. So what I'm using this for is to basically, if this was heavily oxidized, it will remove all of the oxidation from the lens. And this is the first thing we're gonna start with. So just gonna kind of clean it up, get all of the debris off of it. And as you can see, this does kind of, what's cool about this is this does kind of give you a sneak peek as to what it's gonna look like. You know, sometimes there's damage on the inside of the lens, and this part can be used as a scrubber. So this is a good way to tell, you know, if you're unsure because it's so badly hazy or oxidized that you can't see. This will kind of give you a better indication if there's condensation or water or damage on the inside of the lens, in which case nothing you do is going to fix that. So again, with the handheld, I'm going to start it at 8, I believe I said 800, yeah, 800 grit on the sandpaper. Always wet sand, and always keep this thing wet as well. So you don't need a whole lot of pressure, right? It's let the sandpaper do all the work. I'm barely holding on to this thing. And what's nice about it is you can always tell kind of when you're done with that grit, when it starts to slide like very easily with little resistance. So I know that this one's gonna take a few times. So usually my rule of thumb is two passes on the lens for each sanding disc, which always gives me good results. So that's kind of why I just stuck to that. So you can go, some guys go up and down, some guys go, you know, horizontal. I switch it up and I'll go every single direction, just so that I don't create too big of scratches in the lens itself. So I can tell this side over here is getting close to done because it's gliding like with little resistance. So I can tell this side over here is basically done. And then I need some low over here because there's still some deep scratches over here. And again, I said 2 times, but sometimes, you know, you have to go a little bit more. There's no need for any power tools, sanders, or anything like that. Some guys use a drill. I find this much easier and much faster. Those drills kick all over the place. So all we're trying to do is remove the scratches from the last sanding paper. So again, we're still on 800 grit. And I can tell you right now, this is gonna need a 3rd pass. So again, I always try and make sure that the sanding disc is clean because you don't want any debris on it, rocks or sand or anything that's gonna add unwanted scratching to the lens itself. So now this side is getting much better. A lot less resistance. And that's all you're looking for. Don't need a whole lot of pressure. And you want to make sure it glides because you won't notice it until you go to put that ceramic coating on at the end. You'll see those scratches and then you've got to start all the way over. All right, so I think that's done on that one. So we'll go from 800 to 1,000 now, and work all the way up to 4,000. So same process each step. Wet the lens, wet the sanding disc, and come back to it. And for those of you guys that are looking to get into this, the most experience I got initially was from Facebook Marketplace, buying people's used headlights to restore them to get practice. And then the luxury is, if you do it, you could turn around and sell those on like eBay or Craigslist or put them back on Marketplace all refurbished and flip them. So that's kind of something extra you can do if you want. So that's the first pass at 1,000. Let's see. So each step of the way, I'm looking to make sure that there's no shiny spots anywhere on the lens, and that everything glides smooth across. So that's my first pass. And what's nice is each grit you go up, the headlight becomes clearer and clearer. So you'll be able to kind of see it come to life, which is nice. And I am reading comments on another phone, so if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. So as I mentioned before, like, it's very, very smooth right here, and then it catches a little bit here, so I know I gotta work there. But I'm just basically looking to make sure that it glides across the whole lens, and then I know that that grit is done. And then, like I said, some guys go up and down, some guys go side to side. I do both, just so my bases are covered. And again, most of these lenses, you're gonna start with 1,000 in a little test area and see how it looks. And if that works and it's actually cutting, because again, if there's some resistance there, then you know that's where you need to be. If not, drop down a grit and go from there. Okay, so that's 1,000. Now we're gonna go to 2,000. And again, we'll do a couple passes of 2,000, the same way we did the 800 and 1,000. Everything wet. And then again, as you go up in grit, the clarity of the lens actually starts to take form. So you'll be able to, drop my towel, you'll be able to actually start to see how clear it's gonna get. So when you started that 400 grit, Juan, let me tell you this. There has not been a whole lot of lenses that I would do that go that low. And if you do, you have to make sure that you're letting the sanding disc do all the work. So in other words, you're not digging into it and applying a lot of pressure, or else you will gouge it out. And then again, you have to go from 400 to 600, 800, and so forth. So you can't jump grits if you're starting that low, because it will certainly leave scratches and will cause you problems. So that's the first pass. We're gonna do one more and see how we look. So that's very smooth, little resistance, some right here. We'll get that out, and it just glides across. And that's how I know, like I said, I know when I'm done. So there's a little bit more here, and just kind of sand it out. It gets a little trickier on the curves. Let me see if I can show you this. It gets a little trickier on the curves of the lens, you know, trying to get it exactly how you want it. So just take your time. Again, force and pressure do nothing for you. And so we're pretty much gliding across this whole lens now. So if you're right here, right up top here. All right, I think we're good there. So that was the second pass on 2000. So if you guys have been with me since this thing started, you saw how hazy it was. And as I go up, you can actually see the clarity starting to come through, you know, all the different places here. It's still hazy, and that's what we want. And we're gonna cut and polish that out. And then of course the ceramic coating will make it shine. So now we're at 3000. And again, what I like about this particular product is when you get the Pro Kit, it's enough to do 50 cars, and it sends you everything. It sends you the backing plate for your drill, because you don't need a polisher or a sander. I have one, but it's not necessary. A drill that you have in your garage is just fine. And in fact, when I get to that point, I'm gonna actually use a drill to show you that it can be done, and that you don't need an expensive sander and polisher. So again, we're all the way up to 3000, and this thing is gliding really nicely. I like how it's coming out. So we'll give that a wipe down. Evan, that may work, but I like this product because I guaranteed my process and these products for 3 years. I don't think any other company could stand by that. You'll see why when I'm done with the ceramic, because it does, you know, with this sanding, we've stripped all of the UV coating, factory UV coating off of the lens itself. So if you just were to buff it, put it out there, it's only a matter of a few weeks or a few months before it's yellow again. But with this Headlight Magic ceramic, it actually adds the UV back, which is why I give my customers a 3-year warranty. All right, we're sliding across this thing really nice. So I think we're pretty much done at 3000. We'll do the last little bit here at 4, and then we'll buff and or cut and polish. So again, now we're all the way at 4,000. Again, we started at 8 because this one was pretty beat up. Same here, JD. Best stuff I found, hands down. Chemicals aren't harsh. You don't have to worry about breathing in alcohol or anything crazy. So for those of you that have been with me pretty much this whole time, you saw how hazy it was. We're at 4,000 and it is night and day different than what it was when we first started, and it's only going to get better. So we'll do one more pass at 4,000, and then we'll cut and polish, and then apply ceramic. So this is really smooth, no resistance, a little bit right here on this corner, or where it kind of bends. And so I think we're done at 4,000 too, because it is smooth all the way across. And there we are. So after sanding, wet sanding, I should specify, some guys dry sand. I don't care to do that. The next step is going to be, let me grab my. So with the Pro Kit, in addition to a lot of other things, it does come with the 3-inch backing plate for your drill. So that's nice. So you don't have to go and search for one. So again, like I said, any drill will work. Right. With the Pro Kit, again, you get the synthetic wool cutting pad, and again, it'll just go right on your backing plate. I love this stuff. This is a micro cut, and it's also good for polishing as well. So as I put this on here, you'll really start to see this thing come to life. And then even more so when I polish it. So it doesn't, a little bit goes a long ways. So you don't have to, I mean, again, it's just literally a couple drops. And then so that you don't fling it all over your customer's car or all over yourself, I kind of just dab it on here. So it's gonna get a little loud with the drill, so I apologize. So I never wipe this off afterwards. I leave it, because then I'm gonna go right to my polishing pad, and I'm gonna add just a little bit more of this on there, just so it doesn't get so much friction, and it just helps clean it up a little bit. So again, just a few little dabs here, and the same thing, I'm gonna kind of put it on the lens itself so it doesn't just fling everywhere. All right, so after you polish, you do want to clean it off. Switch your towel out. Don't use the same towel you were cleaning all that dirty stuff off of the lens with. I use Sprayway because it's ammonia free and it doesn't make a whole lot of a mess. It doesn't drip everywhere. So again, nice little coat over the top of the lens. So a lot of guys would let this dry and send you on your way. And this is where this product takes it a step further. And applies the ceramic coating. So this stuff, again, adds a ceramic coating to the top, as well as UV protection. And again, for customers, I'll warranty this for 3 years, because that's how much I stand beside it. All right, so a lot of guys will say that they get streaking when they apply this. That's because you're not using enough. So, I mean, you want to put a healthy dose on there. Don't overdo it. But again, the streaking is because you're not using enough, right? So I always like to start in the corner. Let me see if I can get this so you can see. And then I'm gonna lock it in the corner. So I'm gonna start here, go all the way up, lock in the outside, and then make passes back and forth over the top of the lens. You don't have to overwork this stuff. It is self-leveling. If you do mess it up, that's totally fine. If you carry Sprayway with you, even better, because you can just zap it with some Sprayway, wipe it off, and reapply. So that's it, guys. That's how easy it is. What do we think? Drop some hearts in there if we like how that turned out. That's correct, Mobile Glow. So I go half passes over each. And there's no streaking because I used enough of it. This one already did have kind of a weird little crack in it, but that was a Facebook Market purchase just for practice and just for demo purposes. But I think it turns out great, right? And that's why I stand beside this product so much, is because it really does wonders. So again, if you're interested in these products and everything that comes with it, send me a message. I'll be happy to send over everything. And again, these guys make several different packages. They do a one-time use thing for like one car if you just want to do it for your personal car. They do a 10-car package, and then they do the Pro Kit, which is a 50-car package. So again, I think those retail somewhere around $350, I believe. But again, if you use it for business, it'll generate $8 grand in revenue on the bottom side, easy. So that return on investment is great. No, Joe, when I started on this particular lens, I started at 600 because it was pretty beat up. And then I went 600, 800, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, all the way up to 4. So yeah, this product is, I can't say enough about it, you know. so much safer than vapor, so much easier to use than a lot of other store-bought products from, you know, O'Reilly's or Advanced Auto Parts or even Walmart. You know, it's, in my opinion, they're just not up to par if you're trying to run a business for these. I mean, that's a temporary fix. That's the proverbial putting lipstick on a pig, and it just won't last. So now that this ceramic coating has been put on, this is going to be sticky to the touch for about an hour. So if you do have a client that you just did this with, it's very, very, very important that at least for 48 hours, they don't run it through a car wash. And so, you know, accidental water is okay. The worst thing that's going to happen is it gets streaked. But if it dries for an hour and they run through a puddle or something, they'll be fine. They just can't go into a car wash and have, you know, heavy water on it, or else it will streak and you'll just be doing it again. Yeah, no worries, Joan. Is a drill required for the Headlight Magic kit? No, but to use the synthetic wool cutting pad and certainly the polishing pad, the Pro Kit does come with the 3-inch backing plate, so it can go to a drill because you can't cut or polish by hand. I mean, I've never seen anybody do it. You've got to have a drill or something. I mean, again, a drill is all you need, but I do have this guy. This guy is on the, I would say, higher end of the price point. I think these guys run at like $5.50 a piece. But it's a great tool. It's very lightweight, and the only thing you have to be aware of as far as a drill is concerned is when you're actually working on a customer's car, the drills tend to kick. So when you're working, it kind of kicks, so you have to just be careful, whereas this Flex doesn't. It just stays. It's very lightweight. The batteries last forever, but you definitely need some sort of a power tool to cut and polish, for sure. Yes, David, I agree. So, user, send me a message. Because of TikTok's rules and regulations, I can't talk about that on live, or else they'd like to put me in timeout. So, send me a message, and I'm happy to share any of that with you. Yes, David, those car washes will tear them up for sure. So again, guys, that was it. This is a 2014 Dodge Avenger that I got off Marketplace. If you are new, I think for the pair of these, I paid 25 bucks. I mean, that's nothing. I think the last I checked when I bought these, OEM replacements for these were about 400, I want to say, for the pair. So I bought them for 25. This one does have a little minor scratch in it that's like deep that I'm not going to be able to get out. And so with that being said, I'm not going to sell these, but if you were to get some of these, a lot of them are between 25 and even 100 bucks for the pair. You could turn around and dump, double or triple your money. So when it's slow or you're first learning, that's a great way to get practice. And then of course, you have the luxury of selling them for a few extra bucks too. So those pick and pull, like junkyards, are a great place to go. And I've had the best luck on Facebook, to be honest with you. I've gotten several pairs just for practice and certainly to go live and show. And then to flip them too for extra cash. So for customers, dealerships, mechanic shops, TikTok has been great. Just putting out content, people asking questions, that sort of thing. I had zero luck on Facebook and Instagram. That's so diluted, and you've got to be willing to spend tens of thousands of dollars for just a chance. User, I would say that Headlight Magic is better for beginners because it doesn't take a whole lot of, it's way easier than you think, you know, so much easier. Let's see if there's any other questions before we hop off here. So again, if anybody has questions about the actual Headlight Magic product or the process or what I use, send me a message. The last thing I'll show you is, it's gonna get a little wobbly, is the setup here that I use. So I use everything from rigid. It's a little more cost effective, but it keeps everything organized, right? So all of my sanding discs, everything goes in here, gloves, the gauze applicators. See if I could do this without making a bunch of noise. And then down here in the bottom part is like microfiber towels, extra spray away, more of the Headlight Magic erasers, and then regular Magic erasers, and then more gauze applicators. I've got tape down here for taping off headlights, gloves, nitrile gloves. And then the other thing I didn't use inside was this blower. Let me put this down and I'll show you. So when you're working on a customer's car, every time you squirt it with water or sprayway to do your next sanding disc, inevitably all the cracks will get moisture in them. So I use this guy here to, it's gonna get a little loud, but I use this guy here to basically blow off all the cracks and the moisture before I apply ceramic, because you definitely do not want any area wet when you're applying that ceramic coating. So that's something else I picked up. I think this was, I don't know, 30 bucks. Wasn't too bad, but comes with a bunch of different attachments. But it's just a little handheld blower, rechargeable, and it fits right in there. So again, I'll go back to the toolkit. Let's see, any questions? What is the population area you are in? So I'm in Denver, and I service the whole Denver metro area. David, for the sandpaper, it comes with the Pro Kit at Headlight Magic, but if you just need sanding paper, if you just need the discs, Amazon has them. You just want to make sure you get silicone carbide, because that's the best for plastic. If you just Google 3-inch silicone carbide sanding disc on Amazon, you'll get a ton of results. Let's see here, what else do we have? Anybody else have any questions? So again, the light came out great. That's why I stand by this product. It's gonna last for at least 3 years. And in 3 years, if they do call me back, all I'll have to do is a quick, probably either 1,000 or 2,000 grit sandpaper just to get the ceramic off, buff, polish, and reapply. So we're talking probably 15, 20 minutes of work, and you're still gonna charge them anywhere between, I don't know, $139 and $199 to do that for another 3 years. Yeah, JD, this setup has been the easiest. I mean, for sure, everything is organized. Everything stays right where it needs to be. So again, I'm getting ready to jump off, guys. Thanks so much for joining and watching. If you have any specific questions because of TikTok and kind of what they allow us to do and not allow us to do, certainly reach out to me via message on here, and I'm happy to share anything you have questions about. If you haven't already, hit the little bell so you can see when I go live again, and we will see you guys on the next one. Thanks so much.